Welcome viewers. Today the topic of my session is inventory management strategies. In my earlier session we have discussed various popular inventory management strategies just like consignment strategy, bulk ship strategy, drop shipping and cross docking. Today what we are going to do, we will take a look on the inventory management strategies definition, and we will try to explain one of the vendor management inventory which is also a inventory management strategy that we will discuss with the help of a case study, because the case study is a medium which helps us to understand better the concept behind the strategy. So if I say about the inventory, basically inventory is a type of you can say list of items which we have to prepare. And there are four types of inventory, which is which are as raw material inventory, work in process inventory, finished good inventory, and MRO, maintenance, repair and operation inventory. In MRO we have different types of tools, lubricant, coolant, which are necessary for running the shop floor or the machines. In case of raw material and work in process, in today's session, in case of vendor managed inventory, we are not much concerned about raw material and work in process inventory. We are more focused about the finished good inventory which the retailer or the vendor has to manage to satisfy the customer so that customer needs can be fulfilled within no time. If you see that every management strategy, inventory management strategy has two goals. One is service level and another one is your cost minimization. So our inventory management strategies should be like that. We should take a trade-off between these two objectives. That is cost minimization or optimization as well as service level improvement. As we have discussed in our earlier session, there are few customers which are not ready to compromise on the service level, but they are ready to pay the cost. But on the other hand, there are customers who are not ready to compromise on the cost. They go for the minimum cost. They are ready to compromise with the service level. For such type of situation, we have a inventory management strategies. Basically, inventory management strategies works to avoid the stock out condition. Stock out condition is a condition when either vendor or retailer does not have the items at their stock. And it is basically a systematic approach having the different business model or the methods, and the overall objective is to minimize the cost as well as to improve the service level. That is the major objective of any inventory management strategies. Before I start telling you the concept, this is the basic sawtooth diagram. It is drawn between number of days and the inventory quantity on hand. It looks like a sawtooth. That is why it is named as sawtooth model. And if you see, there are few terminology. One is maximum level, safety stock, reorder point. So today our focus is on the reorder point. Reorder point is a point where the retailer has to order for replenishment of the inventory. The objective is its inventory level should not fall below the safety stock. That is the strategy for the inventory management strategies. So earlier also we have talked about the economic order quantity model. This is one of the model because after my session I got the call from my different students. He said that you have not talked about the economic order quantity model. This is another type of a inventory management strategy where we try to calculate a optimum quantity which a retailer or manufacturer has to order for maintaining the stock and without compromising establishing a trade-off between the cost of holding and cost of ordering. The benefit of EOQ model is that we defined a minimum quantity. Benefits: it is a cost effective, it gives you a better quantity, reduces inventory cost. Challenges is sometimes with the constant demand and the lead time. For that purpose, we have a different inventory management or management strategies. The first strategies, earlier whatever we have strategies we have talked, they also worked on the strategies which I am going to discuss. Just like, for example, the first strategy is the vendor managed inventory. As the name implies, the inventory at the retailer end is managed by the vendor. It is a strategy where the supplier or vendor supplies or manages the buyer inventory. Buyer means retailer inventory. That means retailer does not bother about the inventory at their end. The person, since today now RFID and the barcode, everything is there. So whenever he sells any item, the information goes to the vendor and he start preparing the consignment for delivery at the retailer end. There are some challenges. First is required trust. If I am saying that I am managing your inventory, the retailer must have trust on the vendor. Suppose he does not supply, or the retailer has in his mind that he is not going to supply, and what he will do? His customer, he is losing the customer. And there is a huge amount of, or you can say approximately a higher amount of investment on the IT or the information technology. So the case which I am going to take today is of Procter & Gamble. It is a big giant, the manufacturer of a consumer goods, various types of range of product, just like Tide laundry detergent, Pampers diaper, Gillette razor. On the other hand, Walmart is a multinational retail corporation that operates a chain of hypermarket, discount store and the grocery store. These are the two different entities where the Procter & Gamble plays the role of a vendor and the Walmart plays the role of the retailer. So what was the problem? In early 92, I am taking the old case study because that is a proper solution for that. Earlier in 1990, Procter & Gamble and Walmart were facing lots of challenges in their supply chain relationship. What was the problem? Procter and Gamble were experiencing high inventory levels, stock out conditions, as well as loss of sales due to inaccurate forecasting and inefficient inventory management. On the other hand, same situation was with Walmart. They were also facing high inventory level, high inventory holding cost or carrying cost. They are also facing stock out conditions or overstocking. There are two opposite words. One is stock out and another one is your overstocking. And the reason is inaccurate demand forecasting. What they have done, they have held the meeting, several meetings, and then decided that the Procter and Gamble, being a vendor, will manage the inventory at the retail stores of the Walmart. So he took the responsibility. The Walmart has the trust on the Procter and Gamble because both are the multinational companies. So what Procter and Gamble did, they have used the advanced analytics and forecasting technique and predict the demand and adjust the inventory level accordingly. Here the main problem is the information sharing. If retailer is sharing the real-time information about the customer demand, the vendor will manage the inventory according to the real demand, because then whatever the forecasting techniques they will use or the Procter and Gamble use will give the accurate result. Or if I say that in one of session I said that forecasting never gives you the accurate, but up to a certain limit accurate result it will give. So what are the key components of this VMI? The first thing is data sharing. Procter and Gamble and Walmart both shared the data on sales, inventory level and the demand forecast. That this must have been decided in their meetings. Inventory management, the Procter and Gamble took the responsibility of managing the Walmart inventory level of Procter and Gamble products. Another important component was the forecasting and the continuous replenishment. Procter and Gamble, on the basis of the real information data provided by the Walmart, they used the advanced analytics and forecasting technique to predict the demand and adjust the inventory level according to the demand. And what Procter and Gamble did, they have continuously replenished the inventory level at Walmart retail store on the basis of demand. Suppose demand is 400 units and earlier it was 200. So it is the duty of the Procter and Gamble to supply Walmart store the 400 units so that there should not be any stock out condition, because it is now the responsibility of Procter and Gamble to avoid the situation of stock out as well as overstocking, because it is the sharing, because now the both are partners, strategic partners. What was the result? With the help of the VMI or the vendor managed inventory, both got the benefits, just like Procter and Gamble and the Walmart both experience reduction in the inventory level by 20 to 30%. Similarly, the forecasting accuracy, whatever they are predicting, because they are working on the real data, so the accuracy was improved by 10 to 15%. Same thing, stock out conditions. What was happening earlier, there was a many conditions when there was a stock out, and the stock out condition was reduced by 50 to 60%. Another important thing which was experienced by Procter and Gamble as well as Walmart, since there was a continuous replenishment and the inventory was managed by the Procter and Gamble at Walmart, so the sales was improved. There was an increase in sales, 5 to 10%. You don't underestimate 5 to 10% because it is in a million or billion dollars. So if it is a 5 to 10%, it is a huge amount. Another important result is the reduce in the cost. There was a significant reduction in the cost because there was a reduction in the inventory level. There was an improvement in the forecasting accuracy as well as reduction in the stock out condition. If I talk about the implications, both Procter and Gamble and the Walmart, they have given the classic example that how companies can work together to improve the supply chain efficiency and reducing the cost by implementing proper inventory management strategies. They have shared the data, which is an essential part in case of VMI. Both Procter and Gamble and Walmart were able to achieve the significant benefits, just like reduction in inventory level, forecasting accuracy improvement, increased sales and the reduced cost. Now, after the case study, it is easier task for me to explain the each component of the vendor managed inventory. Vendor management inventory, if I defined, is a supply chain management strategy in which the supplier or vendor takes the responsibility for managing the inventory of their product at the consumer location or at the retailer location. Since it is a supplier managed, sometimes we say SMI, supplier managed inventory, or sometimes we also say CMI, co-managed inventory. Now, there are few characteristics or the key characteristics of VMI. The first and the topmost is the supplier responsibility. Supplier means vendor. If I take the recall you our case study, it is the Procter and Gamble who act as a supplier. So, supplier responsibility is to manage the inventory level of their product at the customer location. Second characteristics of VMI is the data sharing. Both vendor as well as retailer has to share their data. Retailer has to share the sales data, inventory level, demand forecast. I was talking about the earlier scene, but nowadays, since whenever one has to make the bill, he has to use the barcode, and the invoice, which is a soft copy at the computer, it is linked with the vendor also. So, at the end of day or in the middle of the day, vendor is watching clearly the inventory level at the retailer end. So, this helps in managing the inventory level. I have several times given one example that in one of the Walmart store, the shelf boy finds that the number of diaper is reducing, and by the end or at the time when the shop or the store closes, or the next day, there will be no diaper. So he was afraid that his superior will scold him. But when he arrived in the morning, he found that the shelf was full of diaper because the vendor managed the inventory. He has a complete transparency of the inventory level at the retailer. So as he found that the inventory is depleting at this rate, so he immediately sent the consignment which reaches in the morning before opening the store. That is the true picture of VMI. Another important thing is inventory management, which I told you that the main purpose of VMI is to manage the inventory. Another important thing, it is not the only managing or the sharing of the data or the managing the inventory. Another thing is the continuous replenishment. Sometimes, since the customer demand is uncertain, it is the duty of the vendor to make the continuous replenishment. Another important point is the collaborative relationship. And here I say the strategic relationship. Collaborative relationship as well as strategic relationship. Both party, retailer as well as vendor, both act as a partner, strategic partner. So they have, if the vendor is taking the responsibility of managing the inventory, it is the responsibility of retailer to share the data about inventory level as well as the real customer demand, because it is the duty. That is why it is called the collaborative planning or the collaborative relationship. Now, there are some benefits. At the end of the case study, we have realized there are several benefits which were experienced by both partners, Procter & Gamble as well as by the Walmart. But for your convenience, I am just listing each benefit and we will define in detail what are the benefits. Just first benefit is the reduction in the inventory level. When somebody else is managing and you are sure that whenever the inventory goes beyond a certain level, then what will happen? It will automatically replenished by the vendor. So you do not need to keep a higher level of the inventory. So the level of inventory gets reduced. Second thing is that when you are sharing the common data, there is a improvement in the accuracy of the forecasting. Few more benefits, just like stock out situation will be minimized, efficiency in planning will be increased, and few other things, just like there will be an improvement in the relationship between the vendor and the retailer. But there are some challenges also. When vendor is managing the inventory at the retailer, retailer is losing control on certain extent because his inventory is being managed by the vendor. Another thing, that retailer is fully dependent on the supply by the vendor or the supplier. In case of any uncertainty, if there is a delay, there will be a chance of stock out conditions at the retailer end. Another important thing is the data sharing. Both partners should share the data with trust to each other. So in today's session, we have discussed about the VMI, that is vendor managed inventory. It is one of the inventory management strategy. We have also taken the case study of Procter & Gamble and Walmart and also discuss how they have solved their problems of the stock out condition or higher inventory level. I trust that my session will be useful to my learners. Thank you.